Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we return to talking about the pop singer and media sensation Taylor Swift. One of the most famous and talked about celebrities out there right now, Taylor actually surprised many when she decided to stay out of politics for the most part for many years. And this is saying a lot in the age of celebrities and singers and actors getting woke and political about everything, especially presidential elections like back in 2016. I don't know if you guys remember, but at that time, the former hardcore gangster and drug dealer turned rapper named Jay-Z, well, Jay was of course one of the more famous pro-Hillary people back in the 2016 election. Him and his girthy wife too, Beyonce, another world-famous singer and pop legend. And in addition to them, Katy Perry also jumped in on the Go Hillary bandwagon back then too, as did many others in the industry. But as I said before, Taylor Swift had stayed out of this previously. In fact, we even covered a few stories and commended Miss Swift for doing this back in the day. Back in the fall of 2017, we first talked about how BuzzFeed was launching attacks against Tay Swift, most likely because she's not supporting SJW politics enough, and also, Taylor's not BuzzFeed's preferred skin color. Then, at the very end of that year, many on the left were upset when Taylor Swift signed off from 2017 with a very positive, accomplished, and happy little send-off. She was content, but apparently Taylor Swift was supposed to be pissed and triggered like every other liberal in America has been since 2016. But thankfully, T-Swizz don't play like that, and she shouldn't. Even if she was secretly super liberal like how many suspect, who cares if Hillary didn't win for her? That shit doesn't affect a singer like Taylor in the slightest, because she still will be making millions of dollars, selling lots of records, and touring the world regardless. Not to mention, Taylor Swift has been a huge media darling who basically everyone likes. Well, up until now. And with that said, it's really no surprise she played it smart before and stayed out of politics for so long. But as you might have guessed by my tone here, and by the title of this video, Taylor Swift recently decided to end her non-political, non-SJW streak, and she's doing it in a really big, really flamboyantly gay way. Fitting since it is Pride Month and everyone and their mothers are pandering to the gays hardcore right now. And it appears to be endless too, since we still have a whole solid week left of this bullshit. Jesus. And nothing against the gays or LGBTQ people or anything either. They're great and all, and I have nothing against them, but I would probably get sick of any group if they had a whole month-long celebration like this. It could be breast cancer awareness, anti-smoking campaigns, or pro-Africa crap or whatever. A whole month is just a little much, so anything that drags on this long starts to get annoying to most people, especially when that month that has been dragging on actually contains a lot of men and children in drag. That's right, sometimes they're even bringing their kids and getting them dragged up at these things too. Pretty disgusting. I don't think anyone wants to watch a 9-year-old boy put on makeup and wigs and twerk on stage while gay people throw dollars at him. That's creepy. And don't you think this whole Pride Month thing is starting to make these groups actually look worse? I mean, I think that's almost obvious by now, but if you think about it specifically, this is pretty much directly at odds with a lot of their messages and goals here. You would think the gays and lesbians and trans and queers and everyone, well, they often say they want to raise awareness so they can get more approval and public acceptance, right? But if they keep annoying everyone, acting degenerate and overstaying their welcome for this whole month-long Pride celebration, well, they're starting to work against their cause, actually. Also, they can have a month-long party, basically, filled with and full of uninterrupted attention given to them at all times. And well, you're starting to sound like assholes if you ask me, and you may not deserve the respect that you're demanding here. I say it's time for you to grow up and start acting decent and professional. Then we'll let you up to the big boy table one day soon, because then you'll actually deserve it. But I digress here. Let's get back to Taylor Swift getting woke for Pride Month specifically. She recently released a really cringy music video that was basically the biggest and most epic high-tier level pandering I've ever seen in my life. Her adoption of the whole pro-gay, pro-pride lifestyle seems tacky and forced, to say the least, and it looks pathetic and patronizing to say the worst. As we went over before, Taylor was previously less political, if she was even political at all. She basically just made her music, did her thing, and that was it. She talked about breaking up with her boyfriend a bunch of times. That was her thing. No left-wing talking points in there though, and no feminist pandering much either. And that was good. Those were the good old days. Swift doesn't need to talk about political topics like immigration, really, if she doesn't want to. And she shouldn't be forced into doing it either, which is what many leftists were suggesting when they complained about Taylor not speaking up before. They wanted her support and help for their failing and corrupt left-wing side. And this was the initial controversy about Taylor's politics too. It wasn't a controversy about her politics at all, actually. It was about liberals crying because Taylor wouldn't support them publicly. She was being non-political. And now, ironically enough, there's still more controversy coming from the left-wing side, even though Taylor has appeared to cave in and pander to them and the LGBT people for Pride Month. It's really never enough for radical SJWs like this. And we'll get to more more about why they're still mad at Taylor soon too. But first, let me just say why I don't like this new song and music video some more. It's called You Need to Calm Down, and it's a little bit redundant, to put it kindly. It's basically at its core a pro-gay marriage song. And I hate to break it to you, Taylor, but gay marriage has been legal for a good long while now. And most people in the United States are okay with gays as well. But this video and Taylor seem to imply that many more don't. And there's even references and images of these trailer park white trash type people who are supposedly against gays or something. And this part seemed kind of racist and anti-white, and like it was a huge stretch to me too. Sure, you can find small bunches of rednecks or religious people who are anti-gay marriage, but they're in the very small minority right now. You could just as easily find many or even more anti-straight people or anti-whites on Twitter, but that's a whole other story, and that's not something SJWs actually care about. Regardless, my main point here is this. Even though Taylor is coming out political and pro-social justice, she's also taking the most bland and obvious and safe stance here. It's easy. Pro-gay marriage. I mean, everyone's for that. And then Taylor is even erecting a bunch of white trash straw men to try and support the need for that cause. When really, gay marriage is already a thing, and it hardly needs this amount of support since it's already a law. Not saying it won't go anywhere and this is totally unnecessary, but it does seem a little dated. And then also in this video, there's a gross amount of gay celebrity cameos, which make it kind of terrible and obviously not my thing. And lastly, the song is pretty weak too, at its core. It's not bad or terrible, it's just typical pop music and very typical Taylor too. And it also sounds like MIA's Plain song from about 10 years ago, or like that Lorde song I can't remember what it's called anymore. She basically disappeared, so I wouldn't be surprised if people don't remember who Lorde is anymore. Basically, Taylor's new song is formulaic and played out and dated, which is fitting since so is the message and SJW politics behind this. Now, with all that said, let's next turn to an article about the controversies surrounding Taylor's new video. It's from the USA Today and it's called Taylor Swift has angered many people with her You Need to Calm Down release. Here's why. This should be good. Let's go ahead and check it out. In the week since the official release of You Need to Calm Down, voices around the internet have spoken out about the pop star using gay rights as a fashion statement and equating the online hate she's received to the violence that the LGBTQ community has historically faced. Oh boo-hoo, she's crying about internet hate. And since the music video's release on Monday, a scene depicting anti-gay protesters as country bumpkins has ignited new waves of criticism because it's anti-white racism. And this isn't the first time Swift has been hit with claims of cultural appropriation, from her twerking background dancers in her Shake It Off video to, more recently, Beyonce fans pointing out the similarities between her 2019 Billboard Music Awards performance and Bey's 2018 Coachella headlining sets. Wow, more pop singer drama, huh? And also, sounds like Taylor just can't win here. I'd almost feel bad for her too if it wasn't for her turning on us, Americans, and Anglo-European descendants in the United States, and the other blue-collar country folk who actually made Taylor Swift famous in the beginning of her career. You see, many like to forget that Taylor started off doing more country music style songs, with just her singing and playing guitar. Long before she transitioned into being a full-fledged pop star, Swift actually came up in the country music scenes, and also on kids shows like ones on the Disney Channel. And this is part of the reason why it took Taylor Swift so long to become pro-leftist completely. She tried to hold on to her conservative, white American, blue-collar background, but now that's all over. She's given up on that and turned into a full-fledged leftist, and that's part of the reason many of her old fans are mad at her. Also, even her own new liberal side is turning on Taylor too. Now they're saying she's using the LGBTQ movement as a fashion statement and as a way to make more money, and well, that's obviously true. And it's just funny how the SJWs won't give her a pass here still. They love it when all the other artists and companies pander to them for profits in Pride Month, but now that Taylor does it, she's getting shit for it because it's never enough, and you can never win with radical liberals like this. That's why Taylor shouldn't even try. Next, the article gets into various reasons for the backlash, into more depth. The first section talks more about how Taylor is using gay pride as a fashion statement and marketing ploy, and I have to agree here again, of course. As we went over before, there's not really a need for this so much anymore, and this whole pro-gay marriage stuff seems dated and redundant, especially to come out all pro-gay rights in 2019 when it's already a thing. And this writer for the USA Today appears to agree here too, as they show various other examples of similar artists speaking up for gays a long time ago. For example, Lady Gaga came out with her pro-gay anthem called Born This Way nearly 8 years ago, way before Pride, LGBTQ month, and gay marriage were even fully a thing. So yeah, I have to agree again. Taylor coming out with this shit now in 2019 does seem like it's a little too late. And it's not even something I would say she needs to do in the first place. Let's not forget, I'm not for this pro-gay, pro-SJW political pandering in music or in entertainment at all. I say let the artists make and talk about what they want. And if it happens to be a lyric or song that's something political, that's fine. And it can work and it can be awesome too. We've seen this with dozens of politically influenced songs and current event motivated bands and music of the past. But make no mistake, Taylor Swift isn't making cutting edge, counterculture political points here, like what we've seen in songs from classics like the band Rage Against the Machine. And Taylor Swift certainly isn't making groundbreaking war protest songs like classics from, say, Bob Dylan or John Lennon and the Beatles. This new Taylor song certainly ain't no Gimme Shelter from the Rolling Stones, that's for sure. And on top of all that, let's also remember, when these rock legends all came out with their political, topic-driven, protest-style songs, well, these bands and artists were not in the mainstream whatsoever. Sure, they all had their popularity and they are some of the biggest acts of all time, but back in their day, they got famous and sent out anti-establishment messages like this, despite their takes being against what was mainstream and politically correct at the time. Anti-Vietnam, anti-Bush, or anti-Reagan-based music, this stuff was anti-establishment, surely, and it was never pushed or accepted by government or the industry, like what we're seeing with this pseudo-political stuff today. And that's really what makes Taylor Swift's woke new music video even worse. Pathetic even. She's caving in and trying to give the woke SJWs in the public, media, and industry what they want here. Ironically enough, going against this gay brainwashing would actually be more unique and counterculture at this point. This woke pandering being done now, though, is just as mainstream as disco was back in its day. Or more contemporarily, Taylor is being about as edgy as Britney Spears or the Backstreet Boys. And that is to say, she's not being cutting edge at all. She's trying to dabble in woke SJW LGBTQ pandering because it's Pride Month, but it's coming back to bite her in the ass right away. Her fans are either upset she caved into the left or they think it's too little too late if they're already left-wingers. And Taylor's non-fans or detractors can see she's just another liberal puppet now, which the left-wing mainstream media will use to push their pro-gay, anti-straight, and anti-white agendas. What do you guys think? Should Taylor Swift have gotten woke here? Is she going to end up going broke in the long run because of this? Probably not. She's already worth over $300 million, so she'll be fine, but will her reputation suffer after this crappy pandering music video debacle? Comment your thoughts on everything below, and thanks for watching No Bullshit. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and we'll see y'all next time.